Hi everyone, comic book reviewer here. This time reviewing on the final issue of Sonic the Hedgehog Imposter Syndrome. Now, as you know, Sonic the Hedgehog Imposter Syndrome is the fourth and final issue into the Imposter Syndrome arc, which is meant to cover Surge and Kitsumi. As we all know, Surge is obviously meant to be a kind of replacement to Scourge the Hedgehog, and is meant to be IDW's take on making a more improved replacement. And the cover mainly has Surge and Sonic being duped out by Metal Sonic, and let's get on with the story. It starts off how, during the Metal Virus story, we see Sterling asking him a question, saying, "May I ask you a question about your methods, sir?"
"You may."
"Why all the theme parks?"
"I like theme parks."
"Yes, but they aren't remotely practical. All that time, all those resources, you could be using them more illogically." And we see how Eggman points out why he does it, and we see how Starline says, "Words to live by, sir." And of course, we see now where he's planning to kind of attack Eggman's main control post, and we see how back from the last issue, Surge and Kitsumi duped him into attacking Eggman's control area, and we see him saying, "Surge, let's do it, Duck." "Kitsumi, ready, sir." "Then let us begin." And of course, we see them all going through, taking on Eggman's various robots to little to no effect. And we see how one of the bigger ones tries to smash them, but we see how Surge basically crumbles it down. And we see how Sterling goes in, and we see Kitsumi saying, "We must make enough of a distraction so that Eggman doesn't realize his systems are being compromised." "My issues with Starlane aside, I do like this part of the plan. Underestimate Western destruction. Grab on, Dribby." And of course, we see Surge going full speed. And we kind of see how they end up causing a lot more damage and teaming together to cause more mayhem. We see Orbot and Cubot returning back from issue 40, wondering if Eggman's going to be angry that they disappeared. We see Eggman saying,
"Where have you been?"
"Oh, just getting up a little. What he means is we were constructing resources and more resources." So we see how Eggman gets them to get back to work. And they find out that there's two others that have DNA similar to Sonic and Tails. And we see basically Orbot saying, "Pulling up a visual now, sir."
"Who in the world are these two?"
So of course decides to send them a little present, which of course is Metal Sonic. And we see Surge saying, "Finally, a challenge!" So we see how Surge and Metal Sonic both dupe it out. And we see how Surge decides to kind of try to do some basically team support attack. And we see how Surge says, "You want to be the real Sonic? You ain't got the heart. You ain't got the soul. And you ain't got the backup." And of course, we see how they both perform their team attacks, with Kitsumi trapping Metal Sonic in water, and we see Surge using her electrical abilities to fry Metal Sonic's circuitry, leaving him into a destroyed position, and of course knocks it down. And of course, we see how Kitsumi and even Surge are now kind of took down one of the more heavier hitters. And we see how Eggman finds out his systems being compromised by Sterling, and we see how Eggman expected Sterling to come crawling back to him, and him saying, "What are you doing?" "Succeeding, your sir." And of course, we see that now that every one of Eggman's robots is under control, and even the sort of redeemed Ladybug back in the issue that I did cover from issue 49. And we see how Surge and Kitsumi see that the other robots are in control now. And we see how Orbot and Cubot have now been controlled by Sterling. And we see how he both kind of bends them down and manages to get away successfully. And we see how basically Surge and even Kitsumi say, "Is it everything you hoped it would be, Doug?" "Bittersweet as I imagined." And of course, gets taken to Eggman's control center and sits down on the seat. And of course, does figure out that Sonic and his friends will come and knows that he's got the plan handled out. We see how Sterling finds out that Eggman's got away and is going to one of his old egg robots, which he says, "I thought I had time to refurbish all of these. Oh well, this one will have to do." And of course, using one of his more heavier hitter mechas. And we see how all the robots head off, and we see how Surge is planning to take down both Sonic and his friends and up the Starline, and making them the ones that will be in control. And this is the story. And we see how issue 50 is gonna have this big story for Sonic to meet Surge, and kind of his both going face to face. So issue 4 of Sonic Imposter Syndrome is pretty good. We see how, yeah, it's gonna come with repercussions now. We do see how Surge has one trick up her sleeve with Kitsumi's support. So I think the issue still deserves a thumbs up. Still good, and still alright. And the series, I would say, is pretty good. I would say if it got made into a Netflix series, I could definitely see the actress who voiced Amethyst from Steven Universe for Surge, Robbie Damon for Kitsumi, also the guy who played Javelin from the Suicide Squad film for basically Dr. Sterling. And yeah, I could see Kate Higgins coming back to all the current actress to voice Tails. So I think the series deserves another thumbs up. Definitely good, and definitely alright. So, Comic Reviewer here, signing out.